Hello YouTube. Okay, so some people were having some troubles with my reactor design, and I hope I can reference or help you fix some of them. One of them was a question about how the force fields work, or not being able to set it up correctly. So I'm going to try and set up really quickly just a basic force field. I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible so that I can cover some of the other things. I'm going to build a regular force field in this video, not actually one that you would use in a reactor, but I'll explain the differences and the basic concept behind how they work, so that you should be able to understand. Go away. There we go. What it is doing and what it would be doing if you were to build it on a reactor. Let me get rid of some of this junk. Alright, we're going to need a force field core, a force field EU injector, and I'm missing something. Force field core. Oh yeah, we're going to need did I get the projector? We're going to need a projector. MFS area projector. Now this one, what it's going to do is this one's going to make a projector that's going to go around us. And this is just going to be a very simple design to demonstrate the theory. HV, we'll get high voltage. No, I want solar. There we go. High voltage solar array. And let's get glass cable. Now, what I'm basically doing here, just to get power, I'm using high voltage solar array. You can use anything. In the actual reactor build, you would be using the reactor itself. This is one of the reasons that you have to put uranium into the reactor before you actually get the force field to appear. So if you're wondering why that is, that's the answer to that. Now, what you're doing here, as a simple explanation, you're taking the power out of your power source, and you're loading it into the EU injector. Now you need this part in order to actually convert the power into force power, I guess. In a later version, they actually invented a material called forcium, which you had to use to power this. But for all intents and purposes, this is converting electrical power here in this device into a power source that this device can use, the generator core. Now the generator core is what's actually going to be generating your force power. Now the force power is then going to be emitted by your projector. And in the case of the reactor, you're going to be using the reactor containment field projector. So it's not going to be quite the same thing. That's actually going to be on the reactor. So this is just going to make a simple dome. Now these two, if I remember correctly, I haven't actually done this in a little bit, but they shouldn't have to be connected. What you're going to need though is a card. And I didn't spell that right. Card. MFS card. Now that you're going to program by putting it into this one here, into the generator core, and then you're going to put it into your area projector. Now this actually has to be turned on at the moment because it should be receiving power, but it's not active. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a lever and slap that on the side of there. Now if you look here, and I don't know what's going to happen with this projector core, it's building up force power, and then you can also see it over here. So actually I was correct, you don't need to have these connected physically. They can be separated by a certain amount of distance. Like, let's, for the hell of it, throw one over here as well, and we'll grab another card. I think you can link more than one. I haven't actually tried all of this, so bear with me. There we go. Yeah, so you can link multiple different cores with that same generator core. So you just do it however many you need. And let's say we'll make this one 5, and we'll make it a sphere. And then this one we'll make it, let's make it really big, and we'll make it a sphere as well. Now if we make it a lot larger, that should hopefully have the other force field inside of it. And what we would need to do, I'm not going to be able to reach that one once I turn it on. Alright, oh well. We'll turn this one on, and what you'll see is it'll build the force field dome around us. So that is a basic, very, very basic way to build a force field. I actually, in my base, I have it set up so that this is hooked up through a... these are actually not separate. In my design, it goes like this. And then this is also turned on by the same thing. You don't need the... Come here. You don't need another power source, another redstone source in order to actually turn it on. So, oh, I'm kind of stuck in here. And if we turn this one off, you'll see that's now gone. So with only the one lever, you can turn it on and off. And what I used is I used a wireless transmitter, a redstone wireless transmitter, and just attached it to the side of the block like that. It's actually sitting on top of another block that would be like here, so it would be up there. And I just use that for to shut off, turn on and off the force field around my base. But that's the basic tutorial of how to build a force field. And the only real differences for your reactor containment force field is it would have to be on a block. So to just be really lazy here, I'll build a... Come here. There we go. Just build a mock-up reactor. You'd have it... like this. Now, what's going to happen is, if I can get a cover... Let's grab red wool cover. You can only put the projector for your reactor containment field in one of these locations. And I should have thought of this before I actually made it. But you can only put the the projector in one of these locations. Now, the same thing would go if you just have the single core. You can only put it around it like this. You would not be able to build it, let's say, at an angle. So you couldn't put the field projector like there. That would not work, because it would not be directly attached to the core. So I hope that made sense to everybody. But that's basically how you would build the reactor containment field. Let's see, what else was there? There was glowstone. MFSU keeps blowing up. I'm not sure what your layout is, but I'm going to go ahead and go over here and look at the one I have set up. I think this was my final design. I'm not sure why my force field's still on. I have no idea. I haven't played with this in forever. Yeah, this one is the better one. Okay, well, I don't want to spend too much time here, so I'll go ahead and just start explaining it. The MFSU, this one's not FFS, it would be right there. Dude, honestly, I don't know what would be blowing up. If this is blowing up on you, try and see if you could take a picture and send it to me, and I'll take a look at it and see if I can figure out what it is. Like, send me like one from this angle and like this angle over here. And if you notice that the way the timer's in there, like that, I can't remember if that affected anything. I don't think it did. That was in order to trigger the... No, the timer had to be in that way in order to just function. That's to trigger your cooling system. Right there. If you're building this reactor over here, you just got to make sure that the reason your MFSU is probably blowing up is more likely than not that you're getting the full high voltage signal from the reactor. So what you can't do is take your MFSU, and I think this one's off. You can't put it like this, because if you do that, you're going to get the full high voltage out of the reactor and directly into the MFSU, and it's going to blow up because it's not actually able to take more than 512 EU in. It says out here, but it can't take more than 512 in either. So what you need to do is use the transformer, the high voltage transformer, in order to step down the voltage, the EU power coming in. And what that does is it comes out as 512, but it is actually giving you the same amount of power as is coming out of the reactor. And the reason for this is, just like voltage in your house at home, it's not actually just voltage. It's voltage in amperage. So the explanation in this case would be each piece of electricity coming out of the system has a specific number attached to it. And out of the reactor, it would be coming out at about 2050 EU. But it's not actually 2050. Basically what the transformer does is it splits that in two, and it makes it, 1,000 whatever, or in this case it splits it into 4 packets of 512. So the same amount of electricity reaches this point. It's just going to be as 4 individual pieces of 512, or somewhere near there, not one piece of 2,000. I think I got my math right. Something like that. It's just splitting it up into multiple pieces. It's not actually removing part of the power coming out of the system. So you can use that. If I took the power out of this reactor and ran it through this, and then ran it into a medium voltage transformer, and then into a low voltage transformer, I would still have the same amount of power as was coming out of this originally, but it would be in 32 EU. So I would be having 32 EU with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of packets a second blasting into this thing. So it would still be getting the same amount of power, it would just be getting lots and lots more little pieces of power, because they'd all be really small. So I hope that helps to explain that to anybody that doesn't understand that. Let me see what else I can get on here. MFSU isn't getting power. I'm not sure what the reason for that would be. If you can take a picture of it, go ahead and do that, and just take as many pictures as you can of your setup. What I do to share pictures sometimes is I will upload them to Facebook, and then I'll upload them as like with the privacy settings to like only me or something, and then you click the pictures and you click download, and when it has the download button, you don't actually click download, you right click it and click copy link. It's something along the lines of copy link, and then you can paste that into the comment and I'll be able to see that picture. It won't show me any of your other Facebook stuff, it just shows me that picture, but that's what I do sometimes to share photos. If you don't feel like going to somewhere else, like I think you can upload them to Image Shack or something, or if you have a Google Drive, you can always upload it to there and share the pictures. I think I don't use Google Drive, so I'm not really sure how it works. But if you can just send me a link to these things, I can take a look at them and see if I can help you with your design. I think that was about all the questions I had. Yeah, if anybody has any other questions, let me know. I'm sorry it took so long to get back to you guys. I've just been really busy lately and haven't actually had any real time to sit down and do anything. And this will probably be one of my few videos for a little while. But please, if you have any, requests for anything, let me know. I will try and make it. It would just take me a little while to get to it. So if you want to see some of the stuff that I've built, or if you want to know how to do something, let me know, and I can try and if I don't know how to do it, I'll try and research it and make you a tutorial. And if I do know how to do it, then I'll go ahead and make you a tutorial as soon as I can. But I think that's about it for this video. So If you have any other questions, please drop me a line. I'll take a look at it. All right.